Hi there everybody, today we are looking at different types of numbers. So I'm going to fly through the different types of numbers that you need to be familiar with. So the first one is, without kind of questions, the most obvious. It's like odd and even numbers. So even numbers in the 2 times table and essentially odd numbers are not. Okay, in a summary. Alright, so obviously 2, 4, 6, 8 and 0, anything that ends in those is going to be even, and anything that's going to be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, or ends in one of those numbers are going to be an odd number. Alright, so you should be aware of those, but hopefully by now. So in quick summary, is 8 odd or even? Well, of course it's even. And 8 is 17 odd or even? Well, of course it's odd. And is 162 even? Yes, it is. Of course it is, because it ends in a 2. Alright, so let's move on very, very quickly. Alright, you should know those. Right, prime numbers. I'm going to go through it because it's amazingly how often students come to me and say, what are prime numbers? And they start with 1. Well, unfortunately, no, it is not. All right. First things first is a prime number has 2 factors. Only 2 factors. All right. So 1, by definition, does not. All right. It only has 1 factor, which is 1. All right. So it only has 2 factors as a prime number, and of course 1 doesn't. So 1 and itself, essentially. So knowing your times table can help you identify prime numbers. But is 6 a prime number? Well, no, because it's got 1, 2, 3, and 6 as factors. All right, so that's not going to be a prime number. 11, yes, it is. All right, because there's only 11 and 1 that goes into it, and nothing else. What about 9? Well, no, it's not, because you've got 1, 3, and 9 that go into it. All right. All right, so, you know, in terms of obviously your prime numbers, you need to really kind of know them. I mean, I can reel them off relatively quickly. You've got 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, and so on and so on and so on. All right, so you need to be kind of aware of them and know them and be comfortable with them. One thing to kind of remember too is obviously the only even prime number. So that's something to kind of be a bit mindful of. All right. So there are other types of numbers which you are going to need to be familiar with. All right. Not some less than others. Triangular numbers. All right. And numbers that can be raised in essence into basically a triangle. All right. So the first triangular number is just 1. All right. That's your first one. And then from there, you're going to add 2 to it, which is going to give you a little triangle, and so it gives you 3. Then you're going to add 3 to it, which is going to give you another little triangle, which takes you to 6. So 6 is a triangle number. And then you're going to add 4 to it, which is going to give you 10. And that's going to give you another triangle number. And so on and so on and so on. So the next one I'd add 5, so 15. Next one I'd 6, so 21. So they would be triangle numbers. All right. So no one's expected you to remember them, but certainly would expect you to be able to kind of figure them out. All right. So you start off with 1, then you add 2, then you add 3, then add 4, and so on and so on and so on. And they're going to be your what we call the triangular numbers, because they form a little triangle with the dots. Okay. So here's the first of 10. So 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 21, 28, 36, 45, and 55. And you can see you're adding 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The gaps in between, they increase 1 each time. Okay. Right. Rational and irrational numbers. Right. This is more for the kind of higher level students knowing what these are. But rationals can be written as a fraction, where the numerator and denominators are integers. Right. So that is rational numbers. So for example, integers, terminating decimals, and recurring decimals. All right. So irrationals cannot be written as a fraction with 2 integers. All right. They're endless decimals which are not recurring. Digits don't repeat. All right. So you don't often come across irrational numbers that much, and they're quite difficult to identify. So is it rational or not? Well, is 6 rational? Yes, it is, because I can put 6 over 1. All right. So that is a rational number. All right. Most common ones. Is 4.73 a rational number? Well, does that terminate? Yes, it does. So yes, that would be a rational number. And what about this one? Well, again, I mentioned the fact that recurring decimals are rational numbers. Well, this is 2323232323. So yes, that would be basically a rational number, because I can change that to 23 over 99. This one, however, if you look at 0.39824693, never kind of recurring, never kind of coming to a specific end. So this would be irrational. It's not recurring, so it is not a rational number. All right, so therefore an irrational number. All right, not really likely to kind of come up very often in GCSE. Certainly not unless you're looking at a higher kind of question. But it's something that you need to be kind of familiar with, because they might mention it somewhere in there. All right. Well, of course, if you need to want to practice any of those ideas and try and remind yourself of what those kind of different types of numbers are, then obviously you can go to maths-school.co.uk and practice some questions on it. Thanks for listening.